fast. We're live.
We're live.
Hey guys, you're watching Tech Radar. I am Basil.
Hi, I'm James.
And today it's all about Android P.
Android P. Android 9.
Android Pistachio Ice Cream.
Android Pistachio Ice Cream, it
Android
looks like.
Panna Cotta.
Yeah, we don't know yet. But...
Android, it's Pancake Day.
But that's it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Yeah,
Pancakes.
Yeah, Android Pancake. It's got to be that, really.
Got to be pancakes. So it's Android 9, which means, because we've had N in the past, it's now P, and that means a confectionery of some description beginning with the letter P. What do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, let us know in the comments. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Let us know what sweet treat you want it to be. So obviously we've had Oreo, we've had everything. We've had an ice cream sandwich and everything.
Yes,
that's why
cupcake.
Yeah, ice cream sandwich is probably why I would be a bit gutted if it was
Pistachio
ice cream.
Yeah,
I don't feel that's repeating again. So I think something like panna cotta or
pancake.
Pancake, something like that would probably be a bit more.
Definitely. So, Frostbite has actually done a rundown of what it thinks it's going to be.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Just quickly shouting out to them. You've got pancake, panna cotta, parfait, peanut brittle,
Yeah.
peanut butter cookie.
Yeah. It's gonna be peanut butter, isn't it?
What the peda?
I have no idea.
I don't even know what that is.
Not even with the picture that I'm looking at.
Popsicle, pecan pie, pumpkin pie, pastry. That's just lazy.
Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tart.
Not even on that list,
not even on there, but Pop-Tart.
Yeah, Pop-Tart.
And it ties in because they've done brand like collaboration.
Yeah.
Collaborations before
Kit
with
Kat
Kit
and
Kat
Oreo.
and Oreo. So Pop-Tart, bam. But is it a dessert? It's a breakfast treat.
Is it?
Pop-Tart's a breakfast treat.
Is it? Okay, right.
I think you pop them in the post.
Welcome to our food show.
Yeah. There are more, but I'm just gonna leave pineapple. No, that's a fruit.
Maybe
that's a fruit. We aren't actually here to talk about the name only, although that is part of it.
Yeah.
We are also here to talk about the features. There have been some leaks. It's early days yet. We aren't expecting to hear anything official on this until next month after MWC, so there is plenty in between now and then. But we will talk about it. First off, a few shout outs to you guys. There are a lot of people in the chat room already, so thank you immediately from the off for getting involved. Zakaria, hello Zakaria, Sohail, Tony, Warissa, Akash Prajapati, Rahul, Social Jetlag, Xboond, Junaid, Wally, VHSSSTV, loads of people in here. And I'm gonna just have a look. Android Peppermint. That's one option.
I've also seen the word Pepsi appear in there, so that's probably what Global Editor-in-Chief Gareth Beavis would probably want.
Yeah, so anyone
Pepsi Max, at least.
who doesn't know, Mr. Gareth Beavis is obsessed with Pepsi Max. In fact, it was what I got him for his Secret Santa.
Send him Pepsi.
Send him Pepsi Max. But right, back to the topic. So, the usual, correct me if I'm wrong, the usual cycle around Android updates is... They get announced without the name, with just the number. The beta rolls out onto Pixel devices, and then in May at I/O, the name gets announced. Yeah, correct?
No. Usually we see the features in May at the Google I/O.
Sorry,
don't announce the name. That's been only the last few iterations that they've actually done this. Maybe it was even just Oreo actually. So we expect that to repeat again this year, where they announce what the new features are. Not even everything. It's just kind of a little teaser and that kind of thing.
Like picture-in-picture for Oreo.
Exactly.
Like that.
They brought in those kind of little features, and then there was a much bigger update along the line, and then we started seeing it land on devices in August, if I'm right, and then that's when the Pixel 2 was announced as well. Yeah, and that's when the Pixel 2 was announced, and that's when the full update was landed on Pixel devices. Okay, so if you've got a Pixel phone, expect to get this first. I would still expect probably Android P to land on the Pixel devices.
Yeah, definitely.
We can't confirm that, but yeah, I would expect that to happen.
Yeah,
and if you've got a Pixel 2 device, you're pretty much certain to get it, and then there'll probably be a Pixel 3 around then if they decide to keep going with that lineup.
Maybe Google will release a chocolate bar and call it Pixel, and then they can name this version Pixel. Stop.
Shaped like a phone.
Yeah, but why are we talking about this now?
So yesterday there was a leak talking about Android P. As I say, that's quite early. We're still a few months out from hearing anything, but the leak was from Bloomberg, if I'm correct, and they cited unnamed sources that said that Android P was going to be basically a complete overhaul, ready for the next line of devices. When I say the next line of devices, they were citing things such as the ZTE phone that you can pull out, and the Samsung Galaxy X, which is expected to be the foldable phone that we're going to see from Samsung at some point in the future. We're even expecting maybe we might see it this year. none of that is confirmed yet, but basically they reckon that Google is getting prepared for that, and it's going to be a complete overhaul because it's going to be a different kind of device, isn't it? The interface is going to work slightly differently with a foldable device, even with this LTE device, which is a foldable
device
phone
but with 2 screens.
Exactly. There needs to be at least a few little tweaks, and it seems like Google's actually preparing for a big overhaul at the same time. We don't know any of the exact changes yet. This is just that
except for
Google is ready for it.
Notch thing
that
was leaked. So this is interesting because it's the first time that I've seen Google make allowances based on what other manufacturers are doing with their stock version of Android. So like Google's always been like, this is Android, now you do what you want with it, whereas now it's like, oh, this is what other people are doing with Android, so let's get this did, like in a way that everything just ties together, which is really nice to see. And it's two-way.
And let's get ahead of the game as well, then, really, because it is only with this one ZTE device that we've seen released so far, and there's not a big name there yet until Samsung comes.
Sony Tablet P.
Sorry,
do you not remember that?
Tablet P,
Sony, was it the P or I think it was the P, the one that was shaped like a clutch bag? Oh, it was so bad. The Sony Tablet P. Sony Tablet.
Put a picture of that in the list. But yeah, it's the first time we've seen like Google getting ahead of the manufacturers there. And they obviously know it's coming. Whoa, that is a
Do you not remember that? So that was the Sony Tablet P, which was the first and the worst dual screen experience with Android running Honeycomb.
Yeah.
Back to you. Sorry, threw you right off there.
One of the sources was saying that this is basically going to embarrass iOS 12 because iOS 12 is rumored so far to be an iterative update like iOS 11 largely was. There wasn't really anything groundbreaking there in terms of updates. There wasn't like a big design overhaul and that kind of thing, and that's what people really notice run these little features. They notice when their whole phone's interface changes. So one of the sources was saying that it's going to be embarrassing for that, because basically Apple is looking to do optimization and battery improvements. That's what they want these big updates to do, and they want to keep the devices running. And obviously they've had the whole problem with
battery issues after throttling and blah blah blah.
After the whole throttle gate, basically, is what some people have been calling it. But it looks like Android is going to be again a complete overhaul. Whether that means design overhaul for all devices remains to be seen. But at least these devices that are coming up with this new interface of a foldable screen and everything, there's going to be some big changes there, and that was necessary, really, wasn't it?
I'm excited because Android N was a little bit of a disappointment in the sense that it was cool, but like the squeezy stuff was only really with HTC phones and Pixel phones. In fact, it makes sense that we recap Android N, but before we do,
you mean Oreo?
Sorry, Oreo, my bad, thanks. But before we do, if you guys can fire in the comments what you want in the live chat, what you want to see, then I'll read that out and it'll make some good talking points. So the main things with Android Oreo were the picture-in-picture, which didn't cascade down into many third-party apps. And even YouTube, you couldn't use it unless you had YouTube Red and stuff like that. So
that needs to expand, actually. It was a nice idea. It wasn't really that well executed.
And it's an idea that's been around for ages. Huawei's been doing it. Samsung's been doing it. Samsung's been doing it since like the Note 4 or something.
And so you can do it in iOS as well. So like it's just something that
when you can do it in iOS, you're behind the curve.
Exactly. Yeah, having YouTube playing in the corner while you're playing around, you're messaging someone at the same time, so you don't have to stop your video while you're using WhatsApp or using iMessage, that kind of thing. That makes not even iMessage, but when you're using a messaging app of some sort, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And the fact you can actually do that with Oreo as easily, that needs to be something that they do.
Definitely.
They expand to, and especially to other third-party apps as well. That's one of the things I really want, I think.
And actually, front-facing, that was the main thing with Oreo. That was the main thing that the consumer was going to see. Their optimizations in terms of improvements, it did run really well. If you used a Pixel, it was like butter. The camera optimizations were really mainly around the Pixel app, which was the other mind-blowing thing. Sorry, the Pixel itself through the camera application from Google. Google doesn't give manufacturers a camera application. It only applies its own camera application to the Pixel. So I think that Android P really has to be a bit more consumer facing to wow people and make people care about upgrades, because one thing that has been really clear, because there hasn't been anything so massive in Android Oreo, not that many manufacturers have been quick to the mark to upgrade to it.
And that's what I really want from Android.
Samsung phones still don't have it.
So at the moment moment, there are 1% of active Android Oreo devices that are running Android Oreo. Sorry, 1% of active Android devices in the world that are running Oreo. That's embarrassing.
That's horrific.
Isn't it?
That's absolutely horrific. When it's going to absolutely pale in comparison to iOS devices. I don't know that number running iOS 11, but it's going to absolutely pale.
And it's always been like this within Google. And I think the one thing they really need to be able to do here is bring out those amazing features and then have it so well optimized that the manufacturers can just slap it on, pat it on the bum and get it out of the door.
Yeah.
Off to school you go.
So we did a bit of a poll around the office, what people want to see, and the most vocal person was Mr. John McCann, and he wants to see, but actually I completely agree with him. He wants to see a smoother process around moving from one phone to another. He wants it to remember everything. If anyone's moved from a Huawei phone to a Huawei phone, don't call me a fanboy. You will know that if you use Huawei's phone sync whatever application, phone clone. If you use a phone clone application, it'll copy everything. It's going to be like folders, what's in the folders, the applications, the saved data. It's incredibly robust, and if a third party can do it, Google should be able to as well. It has been getting better, but it's always been getting slightly better, and it's been paling in comparison to iOS for generations now. So that's what Mr. McCann wants to see. It's already doing stuff like remembering Wi-Fi passwords, remembering passwords and stuff like that. But needs a bit more. What about you?
I want it to be better on tablets as well. Android tablets are still not good enough. Not good enough considering iOS works so well across both iPads and the phones. Why can't Android do that? There's only little things. There's only these little things that are a problem. And I think
look at the tablets out. There aren't any Android tablets that are going to make people want an Android tablet. You look at the Samsung Galaxy Tab S3. That's still running Android 7. I think it just got Android 7 a few weeks ago. And on top of that, you've got all that bezel. It's running a completely different user interface to the Galaxy S8. It's running the 2016 version of... Why would you buy an Android tablet?
It's really hard, isn't it? And I don't know whether this whole switch towards... obviously, this is going to be a few years' time when this becomes really, really mainstream in terms of the Galaxy X and that kind of thing. But is that going to kill off Android tablets there? Because you're going to have a phone that can fold out into a bigger screen. Are you going to need an Android tablet? So maybe it won't. Maybe this change will blur that line, and maybe that means that it will be a bit of a better tablet system in general for those devices that go in between that switch over.
But we're coming to Mobile World Congress. Are we going to see any Android tablets at all?
So far, we have absolutely no rumours for
zero rumours.
So
that's a first.
Hopefully a Tab S4, hopefully. But we're not going to get a tablet from Sony because we haven't seen one of those for years. Maybe one from Huawei, but it probably won't be a big flagship device.
Like M4 8-inch or something
exactly,
like that.
But it won't be like a big device that's like their headline device.
Not an Android device, but we may see something Windows because they have been hitting the MateBook series really, really hard and with great success. The MateBook, we both were at the launch event and we loved it. Our PC editor, Matt Hansen, like the speakers on that for its size, it's just an excellent Windows device. So I think when manufacturers like Huawei are moving away from Android in their tablets to Windows, it's a real indication as to where Windows and Android is tablet-wise, and Windows is winning that race now, and Apple for slender tablets that you can chuck in your bag is probably ahead of both. I don't know what it is that Android does so bad. That's the thing. I don't know what it is that really holds it's what
back.
It doesn't do. It doesn't integrate. It doesn't feel like a really integrated, unified experience. Even down to now, a lot of my old tablets, I'd need a different charging connector, because it was USB, micro USB, things like that. Whereas Apple, if you've got the latest of anything, you're sold into the same.
And all the apps are so well optimized for that bigger screen as well. You know that when you boot up Netflix, it will be the optimum size. My wish, 18 by 9 inch tablet. 18 by 9 aspect ratio tablet with a Quad HD OLED display, maybe 4K. And it's going to be long. It's going to be really, really weird, but it'll blow my mind. Imagine hooking up DualShock controller to that. Nice.
Would love to. Right, you guys have been commenting. We've been waffling, and boy, have you been commenting. Oh my goodness. Damn. Okay, so VHS. Phew, I thought I was late. Nope, you're on time, dude. Akash, AI and machine learning functions.
Well, that's something that's already available in Android Oreo on some devices.
On some devices, but through third party. And the Snapdragon 845, which is a processor that's going to be in the majority of flagship Android P devices on launch has AI integration, but if Android's able to make use of it, maybe there'll be less cloud-based stuff and more on-device AI.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, that would be a really big. That would not be the sexy headline thing, would it? It's not the kind of thing that makes you go, "I really want Android." But in the background, that would do that optimization, that kind of thing, which is what they want to do with these upgrades.
It could be sexy. Like, imagine if you could have contextual conversations offline. Because with Google Home, Google Assistant, the contextual conversations are super useful. Yesterday, if you say, okay, I'm going to set your Googles off, so sorry guys, flick it on mute now. Okay, Google, how do you make falafel? And then Google Home will like talk you through the process, and then we'll be like, this is step 1. Tell me when you're ready to move to step 2. And then, so it's like contextual. Whereas if you could do stuff like that offline, maybe not with search results, but what is the weather? What will be the weather tomorrow? Or what about tomorrow and stuff like that? That would be really cool. And if it could download databases like Huawei's Honor View 10 and the Mate 10 Pro, download databases of languages, and offline you could just be like, what is I want an ice cream in Italian? And it could do it all offline. That would be sexy. Like, that would be a headline Android P feature.
It would be the way they market it as well. But you can market that really well, couldn't you?
So AI.
Great idea.
Thanks, Pratt. Thanks, Akash Prajapati. Excellent. I will pronounce your name better next time. Right, we have more comments from you guys. What are your thoughts on Google removing features from new Android versions and going iOS route? MS Tech. Removing what features?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Can you elaborate a little bit on that comment?
MS Tech, if you could elaborate on that comment, then it will put us in a better position to respond.
Thanks, mate.
Please add the feature transfer to memory card.
Yeah.
So Adrian Dimayakiak says he would really like to be able to transfer apps to SD card, and yes, I agree. This is an ongoing problem. With Pixel devices, it's getting so much better because they have such incredible cloud services around the photos and videos. And they're also not 32 gigabytes anymore. The lowest Pixel version is 64. But I'm reviewing the Honor 9 Lite. Just recorded the review before jumping on here. And if you like gaming and things like that, one of the biggest issues is the 32 gigabytes of storage. It's just not enough these days for power users.
Can you not do this through adoptable storage?
Not all devices support adoptable storage.
That's true, yeah.
No.
So maybe that's another thing we want from Android P is like forcing devices to actually, because adoptable storage is a great idea, isn't it?
Adoptable storage is a great idea, but remember that HTC 1A9 was like the first device to introduce adoptable storage, and my memory card came out and it was adoptable, and that bricked the device.
Oh, did it?
So like ever since then I've been really terrified of adoptable storage.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that will always be the case, but for it to brick a device is like pretty bad.
That is bad.
Years. What else? Can we understand why Google keeps bringing new Android while most customers still not get Marshmallow? Yeah, so this ties into exactly what James said earlier.
There's so many different little factors at play here. So you've got to have the device has got to be capable of running the latest software there. So your device may still be old enough that it can't actually handle it, and usually that's around 2 years or so, maybe a little bit longer for some manufacturers. Then it comes down to what manufacturer your device is from, whether they want to spend the time and effort in making that update ready for you. Then it also comes down to your carrier or your network which are also involved in this whole thing. So that's why sometimes when you read a headline saying the Samsung Galaxy whatever has the update ready, but then when you dive into it, you're like, actually, I probably won't get it for another 2 months because it has
I'm
to
on
first
a network.
Exactly. When you're on a network that wants to have a little bit of a fiddle and play around with it before they push it out, and then especially if you're on an older device that's not a flagship device, you're going to be waiting that a little bit longer because it's not their main priority. So it's really hard, but I can also see on the other side of it how you do need to these companies do have to prioritize.
You need to jump through a lot of hoops. You need to develop a lot of resources. If you do really care about that and really care about being kept in the loop, my favorite company for updates is Sony, because they email you every time you have a new update as well. And
Motorola are also quite good.
Motorola's excellent. They have a beta scheme. Huawei and Honor aren't notoriously excellent, but they again do have a beta scheme. So if you really want the latest version on your phone, look for the brands that have habitually been giving early access to customers.
And generally go for the higher end devices and the flagship devices that are popular. So
that will last a bit longer.
Yeah, the Galaxy S8 is one of the ones that still hasn't got Oreo, but it will. We know it will get it. That's the thing. We know you may have to wait that little bit longer just because there's a few kinks and stuff in it, but we know. In fact, it is actually rolling out now to some devices. It's rolling out. Yeah, but obviously it comes down to your network and
I mean, when you had the Galaxy Note 8 rolling out, other devices were already like packing Oreo, and that's like a flagship Samsung device. Yeah. But that said, the Samsung experience is super refined and like heavy in the sense that you don't actually interact with Android, stock Android at all. So it'll be much less noticeable on devices like that, especially when you've got an update like Oreo. Android P, whatever it ends up being, may be a little bit more noticeable because you actually have some more fundamental changes. If they make, for example, fundamental changes to privacy, security, Android Pay, fingerprint interaction, so that like there's a standard that people have to hit by a certain time, that will light fires under some manufacturers' backsides to get gone.
And it's also worth mentioning that if you want the latest immediately, Pixel, it has to be Pixel every single time, because that is the device that this is all running for, basically. And you even want to wait until, if there is a Pixel 3, you probably want to go for that, because that will have all of these features in one package design that will come out immediately. So, but it's expensive. So
I mean, the Pixel 2 series is great now, so that wouldn't be a bad choice, especially if you like your cameras. Please add hologram for the keyboard, so once it to project hologram. That will be generally manufacturer centric, but if Google's going to support it, great. Akash says Android P Pecorino, cheese isn't as sweet, dude. I hope it will be less RAM hungry. That's fair. Android P, so that's one thing that we've absolutely seen. So the iPhone 10 notch, the essential phone notch, people have seen the source code that Android P will support the notch, and so that suggests upcoming phones with even less bezel will be supported by Google. So yeah, I think that's really self-explanatory. It's not a bad thing unless you hate a notch. How do you feel about notches, James?
I'm fine with them, really. I don't understand why people get so upset about them. But also, what does that actually mean by supporting a notch?
I mean, they support notches now with the essential phone, but
the
thing is, maybe on the hardware baked level, the essential phone just has to draw those pixels where the notch is. So it's still so something could appear there in an app. That
could be really cool.
So making sure that like whatever application is coded for Android P, you will not be missing anything.
As much as the Android 10's making that, I hesitate to use the word iconic, but iPhone 10. Oh no, done it. It's rubbing off. Iconic probably isn't the word yet, but it is something that's becoming identifiable as the iPhone 10.
iPhone 10.
Yeah, iPhone 10. Maybe one of these or some of these manufacturers can actually make it different colors, make it different interactions when you're using an app. That could be really cool, and that could be what Android P does.
Yeah. We expect better battery optimization more than anything else. People seem to take this 4 to 6 hour screen on time and 12 to 13 hour usage time to be normal. Why won't flagship phones and manufacturers pay attention to these things rather than things like ... a notch? That's from Zishan Khan. Thank you for that, Zishan.
Yeah.
I'd agree, but what I'd also like is, how with third-party manufacturers like Huawei, like Samsung, you have that extreme power saving mode that just shuts down a whole load of other features and just gives you a bare bones phone. You don't have that in Android, stock Android.
Battery is something that we all want improved. But again, it's not the sexy headline feature that these manufacturers want on their flagship phone.
No.
They want to have that cool new thing that looks a bit different and goes and makes you buy it. I don't think that many people buy their phone for battery life necessarily, as long as it's okay. Whenever we write our reviews for battery life, if it lasts that solid day, we're happy with it. That's the thing. I've reviewed phones that have genuine 2-day battery life, but people still aren't that excited about them because
Lenovo P2.
Yeah, exactly. It's 2-day battery life. Cool, that's awesome. but it's not that sexy feature that makes you go out and go. You don't stop and look at someone on the train going like, oh, that phone's got 2-day battery life.
Check out your battery.
Exactly. So I think that's probably the reason a lot of manufacturers don't go down that route.
Yeah, but then plus a lot of the battery optimization does end up on the software level, absolutely, but a lot of it ends up on the chipset level. So it's a conversation, really a three-way conversation between Qualcomm, between the manufacturers of the phones, and between Google, and that conversation is constantly taking place. So Android itself, I think the software optimizations like can be there if they're a bit more explicit. It make people feel like Google was doing more around it. And also maybe more accurate like predictions with regards to you have how much time left, and you know, things like that, and maybe like more interactive alerts. So if you don't plug your phone in, you won't last for the rest of the day. So those kinds of useful, meaningful alerts would be sweet. I'd like that. Most manufacturers focus on innovation here. Okay. So Anas, I hope Google copies what Microsoft did, separating the core of Android to be updated directly through them and not through manufacturers. The challenge is, when you look at what Microsoft did, they don't have such tight third-party integration into the look and feel of the hardware, so that would strip. I'm not sure any of the third-party manufacturers would really support that initiative. Samsung, it would strip away the identity. I think the reason Android's been able to flourish has been in a big way because a Samsung phone looks like a Samsung phone inside and out, and it doesn't look like a Huawei or an LG. Well, maybe it looks like an LG phone, but you know. So I think having a central core that Google updates could happen, but it would have to be very, very superficial. AI and machine learning again. Android.
I think you jumped a bit up.
Yeah, it did a diggity do. I would like to see better dual camera support on Android P. That's interesting. So like, we've not actually got any Pixel devices or stock Android devices that have dual cameras anyway. And actually what Google's gone and done is proved that you don't need one because of the Pixel 2 XL and Pixel 2 having excellent cameras. Antivirus. That makes sense actually, just because Android's the most susceptible version, like operating system, because it's the most popular, and it's also used by the broadest range of people who potentially may be susceptible to viruses. I mean, this is so bad. Like, I grabbed my dad's phone the other day to help him with something. Someone called, and then this like woman like started dancing on his screen as that was his dialer, and I'm like, Dad, did you install like a custom dialer? He was like, no, I got like a thing pop up just saying your phone has a virus, and then I pressed it and he pressed it and then it was like, your phone didn't have a virus, but you gave your phone a virus, and so now I have to wipe his phone. But like, that's the susceptible, you know, target.
And so a lot of Android users are people. So having something like that hard baked into Android would be really, really good. And also, that's difficult though.
It is difficult. It is, and maybe like a little bit tighter app control in the Google Play Store, but that's a different story. Hans says he's so pretty. I love his cute beard. Stop it, Hans. But thank you. About, though? It's true. If you can't see, James is rocking some blonde designer stubble right now. That's the majority of the questions. Please remove the cache memory. Blah 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 blah. Loads and loads of really. Oh, British Unknown's here. Right. Hi, British Unknown. Nice to see you. Popcorn. We didn't say popcorn.
Oh yeah,
that's a really good shout, and that would be fun.
Oh, it will be popcorn.
I hope it's popcorn.
Yeah,
like look at you, Finley.
Yeah, as much as people keep calling it like panna cotta and that kind of thing, I'm like,
no.
It's
and
not
pistachio ice cream, like you said, is just going to be a letdown.
Yeah, like it needs to be that one word for me, I think. But they've set a precedent with ice cream sandwich having it as a 3-word thing. So,
do you imagine if someone makes an OS better than iOS and Android combined? So in a parallel universe where that happens, the downside is they will need to get the adoption, the mass adoption for app developers to jump on board before it can actually be a better.
Yeah, we're in a two-horse race now, really. There wasn't even enough space for the third horse Windows Phone, really. So yeah, even if there is one that combines both those amazing features, I think it'd be really difficult for them to get in now.
I mean, BlackBerry OS in a lot of ways was actually better than Android at the time from a usability point of view, but it was never going to take off because
limited. It was limited to those devices.
Yeah,
so, that's how Android's done it, and iOS has done it through quality. So it's
Exactly.
It's a difficult one.
Exactly.
I
exactly.
don't think even with the most backing, with the most financial backing, and the most genuinely great operating system, that either of those is probably going to happen now.
No.
We're stuck with these two.
We'll see. We'll see. Something may change with like dawn of VR. We may all move into the Oasis. If anyone's seen Ready Player One, and then a smartphone operating system in a VR world.
No one's seen Ready Player One. It's not
anyone read it. Anyone read Ready Player One?
Wait, have you seen Ready Player One? How did you...
In my head, I have. Quibunk. Yeah, no. So yeah, if you haven't read Ready Player One, excellent book. But yeah. I love to see creativity from manufacturers, not just copying other phones. Agreed. So yeah, I think the take home we can get from this, what people are most excited about is the AI kind of features that Android P could bring, battery saving optimizations. What we know about, i.e. the notch and the foldability, hasn't created any conversation.
Yeah.
So it seems like people aren't really that...
But that's because those devices aren't here yet. I think this is them preparing for that next step, and obviously they know the Galaxy X is coming. They know other manufacturers are probably messing around with this kind of stuff, so they're just getting ready for that. Again, it's not that sexy feature right now, so I think it's probably the groundwork there, ready for Android 10.
Yeah,
really ready for all the Android 10 year devices, the 2019 devices going forward. This year is probably when we start to see those prototype devices, that kind of thing, and then Android P's they're ready, work out the kinks, and then next year we're in. Like,
do you know what I want to see? So this is inspired by Adrian Dimayakek's question. He says, oh no, it's not, sorry, my bad, it's Prakya Patel's question. He asks if it'll run well on budget devices. Imagine if there was an Android that was kind of like effectively tiered. So you had your Nokia 3310 that ran a like really basic version of Android that had like the basic app support, so app developers were able to make effectively 8-bit versions of their apps that ran on things like the 3310, because the 3310 in 2017 saw such a resurgence in popularity, and it almost brought back love for candy bar type devices. And so it's a step down from Android 1. Android 1 being the effectively universalization of sub £100 Android devices, or £150. It really took off in India, hasn't taken off in the UK quite so much.
It's not really been available though.
Now it will be with HTC U Life, I think it is.
I'm not sure what.
So that has, and that's got Android 1 on it, HTC, and that's going to be released in the States for £350. And what that guarantees you is a certain number of Android updates. And it comes back to our conversation earlier about the fragmentation around Android. So if Google kind of focused on making like a cross price point solution that made people be like, I'll get an Android device, that could be something. Maybe, but we don't know. But we will know after Mobile World Congress.
Yeah, we probably won't know for a few more months, even though, to be honest. This is a really early thing. The reason we're talking about this is that Bloomberg story. But
around the notch and the folds.
Around the notch and the folds. And that sounds like that's what we're going to be hearing a lot of, I think, when it comes around to Google I.O. If I'm right, Google I.O. is in May.
Google I.O. is indeed in May.
So that would be when we actually hear proper announcements, but then we're not even going to get it on devices for a few months after that, so don't get too excited just yet. But...
No, but do get too excited, because Mobile World Congress is in a couple of weeks, and both of us will be there.
It's not even 2 weeks away now.
No, it's not.
So near.
So we'll be flying over to 2 weeks last Saturday. Everything from Sony, Huawei, Nokia. Haven't heard anything from LG yet.
No. Today we heard they are making an AI device.
Okay.
LG V30 AI.
Okay.
Yeah, so we will see that at some point.
LG V30 updated with the Snapdragon 845?
Not sure.
Ooh.
Not sure yet. They've literally just said LG V30 updated with AI. Don't worry, this isn't under embargo or anything. You're looking at me a bit like
no. I'm just trying to like wonder what
so
it is.
LG V30 2018 edition basically is going to have AI in it, and it's going to have very similar features to the Mate 10 Pro in terms of having the automatic camera and that kind of thing with the different modes.
Cool.
That's what they're thinking at the moment. But LG have already said to one of our rival sites that they won't be hosting a press conference this year. So whether we actually see that at the show or not, we don't know. It'll probably be on the floor, so we'll have something up on that on the channels in 2 weeks' time at MWC.
So wherever you are in the world, tune in on the Sunday. That is going to be the crazy one.
Yep.
And then we've got other things throughout the Monday and the Tuesday as well, and we'll be wrapping up on the Wednesday. But from me, Basil, and you, James.
Hi.
Okay. That has been our long chit chat about Android P. Thank you guys. All your comments have been super, super helpful. We've learned as much as we have chatted. Tune back on Thursday, same time, where we'll be talking about something completely different, but still tech related. Bye.